Hello and welcome to Generational Wellbeing with Dr. Lom. Thank you again for joining me today. I am so excited about this topic today because I dealt with it this past weekend. So today we'll talk about the toddlers who are not only picky but insist on eating the same meal all the time. So, what is the reason why? I'll talk about why most toddlers do that. So, they do this because they want some kind of control. The toddler phase is when they start becoming independent. I want to do it all by myself. I got this, and all the other normal toddler behaviors. But at the mealtime, is their time of exhibiting control where they can restrict and then insist on getting what they want. And most kids learn over time that if they restrict long enough and they insist on getting what they want, especially when it comes to food long enough, guess what? As a parent, as a mother, you're going to give in because you don't want your kids to starve. So a lot of times, all of this is because they want that control. And picky eating, of course, it's a phase, and there are a lot of kids and a lot of parents who are going through this phase. So if you're a parent who has a picky eater or has an eater who wants to eat the same thing all the time, it's not your fault. Cheer up, you're not alone, because I think almost up to 50% of parents with toddlers go through this phase. So if you are in that scenario, what can you do? So remember, I said there's a time where the one control, so you can divide the roles and say you provide the food and they decide if they want to eat it, how much of it they want to eat it, or how much of it they want to eat too. So if say we're providing lunch or dinner, you could possibly give two choices. So it gives them that sort of control within boundaries that I can either eat A or B, and they can pick one and eat it and stuff, and then you can they can decide how much of it you want to eat. So we're going to avoid mealtime talk like, oh, you have to clean your plate, or you have to eat this, or try to take one more bite, and all of that, because that takes away that control from them. But you are giving them control, but within boundaries, where you're giving them two choices. Do you want your carrots or your broccoli? You can pick one and eat it. And once they pick that, they have it in their plate, they can decide how much of it they want to eat. So that releases or gives them some flexibility as far as control is concerned. Now, what are some tips you can use to help overcome this? First, you want to go into mealtime without any agenda. You're just providing food, and if they eat it, fine. If they don't eat it, fine. But you're not going to replace or immediately give them their favorite foods, because every time you give them their favorite foods, when they say no, it reinforces that behavior, and they take that in and they will run with it. So you want to make sure that you're not immediately giving them what they typically would want to go for. Now, secondly, it's really important to have some kind of mealtime schedule where you have breakfast at least within a certain time frame, lunch and dinner. And if it's a kid who's a grazer, you may want to add snacks in between. But being mindful that you want to make sure at least there's a 1 to 2 hour gap between the snack and the next meal. Because if you offer them something that they're not very familiar with and they're not hungry enough, they're not going to eat it. So offering choices too, you want to schedule meal times just based on your schedule when you start out, or once you have dinner, ensuring that there is a time in between to allow that hunger urge where they actually have that urge to even try it. And then third, you want to mix it up a little bit. You may want to put in their favorite food and something new next to it. And once you're doing something new, it may be just a little bit. It could be 2 peas, nothing too overwhelming, where it's there, they can see it, but it's not overwhelming, it's not in their face, but you're saying it because guess what? You want them to eventually become familiar with this new food that may be foreign to them. I've used this example before. Take yourself to a really foreign country, putting food in front of you the first time, it's foreign to you. You may not even want to try it. You may not like the way it smells just because you're not familiar with it. So it takes time for them to get familiar with it. So just pairing it with what they've tried before or they've eaten before, and just having it there. They may not touch it, they may touch it, they may smell it, they may taste it the first time, or they may just let it be. But having or reintroducing that food during multiple meal times gets them familiar where, I've seen this, I'm familiar with it, it's not overwhelming, it's not foreign anymore. Maybe I can touch it, maybe I could taste it, maybe I could smell it. So just being patient and consistent where you're offering that pair, or you're pairing up the offerings and mixing it up where they become familiar, and eventually they may turn to take on to it. Another thing is sometimes you may need to negotiate, where you can say, okay, this is what we have today, but tomorrow we'll offer your favorite meal. Now, if you make that promise, you want to make sure that you follow through your promises. You don't want to make a promise and not follow through with it, because then the next time you make that promise, your words don't mean anything. We're not going to follow. We're not even going to listen to you because your words do not carry any weight. So if you are negotiating and making certain promises, you want to make sure you follow through with your promises. And again, when I said promises here, I said offering the favorite food maybe the following day, but not promises where you're offering a dessert or some other sweet food as a reward for eating a vegetable or something new, because that again throws in a different language, as in you're making me eat something that's not too good, and then bad labeling a vegetable as opposed to a dessert as a rewarding kind of food. So you don't want to use those languages, because again, they turn to backfire with time. And then finally, you want to make sure that as they're hydrating with water mostly, especially around mealtime, because I have seen kids who would drink milk all day long and refuse to take a bite of anything, because guess what, the milk fills them up, the juice fills them up. Juice is another one. I've seen a lot of kids just drink juice all day long and not want to eat anything else. So you want to, keep them hydrated, but maybe offer water in between meals. That way, at least they're hungry enough to try something. And if it's a kid who likes milk, you could maybe offer the milk at mealtime, but not immediately before mealtime, because they're not going to want to try anything new. Then finally, involving the kid, depending on the age of the kid, involving the kid with meal preparation. It's another great way of getting them involved. Now, depending on the age of your kid, you may go grocery shopping with them, and the first time they may not want to pick anything, but you want them to see how you're picking up stuff, how you're preparing stuff, and what goes into the process, and get them washing vegetables, get them putting things in the bowl and stuff like that. And it takes time, regardless of which of these tips you try. It takes time, because I've seen kids from like, I'm not picking out any vegetables. No, I'm not doing that. Oh, come back and still say it's yuck. But with time, as they see you do it again, remember, we're trying to get them familiar. We're creating a new habit, and any habit, regardless of what it is, it takes time to actually get you to the point where it becomes a habit, right? So if you do it the first time, it doesn't work, do not be discouraged. It takes time, and as you continue to do it, eventually it becomes, I guess this might work. But as always, whenever I tell a parent, if you're starting, you have to be mentally prepared to start, because you want to, as you start, you want to be able to follow through. Because again, remember, this is a control. This is their way of controlling you. So if you start and give in, they will take it all the way. They will give you a run for mealtime. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know what your take is. Let me know, drop your questions in the comment box. Let me know what else you want to hear about it. Let me know your struggles with your toddlers and any other topics you want to hear about. As always, thank you for listening. Don't forget to share with a parent who is having this issues with their toddler, and subscribe. Thank you again. I'm Dr. Lum.